Todd Chrisley slams living with wicked Savannah. Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another video. I hope everyone's having a great day. Before watching the video, please subscribe and like it. Todd Chrisley is slamming having to live with his wicked daughter, Savannah Chrisley. She moved into her parents' Nashville home when they went off to prison. This allowed her to raise her younger siblings, but now Todd has had enough. Keep reading for more details on what he had to say. Savannah Chrisley moved into her parents' Nashville home when they were convicted and sentenced to a collective 19 years. She would be raising her younger siblings, Grayson and Chloe Chrisley, so this was the best option. Savannah worked her tail off, and in May 2025, Julie and Todd Chrisley were pardoned by President Trump and released within a day. They have since returned to their home in Nashville with plans to relocate. Yet Todd is really over having to live with Savannah. He has talked about how they butted heads once he got home, which she could not stand. Now he spoke openly with his wife, Julie, on their podcast, Chrisley Confessions 2.0. He referred to their daughter, Savannah, as Griselda, and was clearly over this living arrangement. Todd and Julie both noted that being out and living life is harder than prison. They added that life keeps moving on the outside, but when you're locked up, it all comes to a complete halt. Moreover, Todd shared that it is his family who keeps him up at night, and joked that the inmates he was with were not as bad as his own clan. It appears that Julie and Todd Chrisley are trying to get back into the swing of things, as well as their own ways. Unfortunately, it is a very hard adjustment, and living with Savannah does not make it any easier. However, she has stated that she is getting her own condo, so this arrangement should not last much longer. Fans had to laugh at how Todd spoke about Savannah, aka Griselda. Now they want to hear from his mother, Nanny Faye, and see how she feels. Chrisley knows best. Fans love hearing from Julie and Todd Chrisley. They do feel that she had a far harder time behind bars than he did. Moreover, they have said she has a darkness around her, which is heartbreaking. At the same time, his stories have been relatable, and many are just happy that he is home with his family. One thing is for sure, y'all are loved. I can't wait for the new show. Todd and Riding Dirty with Griselda. Ulmau, that was funny, loved this family. Some wondered why Savannah was Todd's roommate, maybe not realizing that they are all cohabiting. Hopefully, the new family reality series will show some quirky interactions between Savannah and Todd Chrisley, because that dynamic would be hilarious. Chrisley knows best. Star Todd Chrisley slams living with wicked Savannah, an explosive podcast revelation. In a dramatic turn of events that has sent shockwaves through fans of Chrisley Knows Best, Todd Chrisley is once again dominating headlines. But this time, it's not about his prison sentence or real estate empire. Instead, the family patriarch has turned the spotlight on his own daughter, Savannah Chrisley, in a brutally candid moment on his podcast, Chrisley Confessions. While speaking from behind bars, Todd didn't hold back in describing his strained relationship with Savannah, calling her wicked, and opening up about their emotional fallout. This startling revelation comes at a time when the Chrisley family is already navigating public scrutiny, legal chaos, and emotional distance brought on by Todd and Julie Chrisley's federal prison sentences. But in this new chapter, what's most jarring isn't what's happening inside the prison walls. It's what's unraveling outside of them. The very daughter who once stood as the family's unwavering pillar is now being portrayed in a darker light by the very man she tirelessly defended. From daddy's girl to distant stranger, Todd Chrisley has always worn the title of family protector like a crown. As the larger-than-life figure on USA Network's reality TV hit, Chrisley Knows Best. His sharp wit, lavish lifestyle, and obsession with control fueled much of the show's drama and humor. Yet despite his perfectionist tendencies, there was one thing Todd always seemed to adore without condition: his daughter Savannah. Todd didn't mince words when he described living with Savannah before prison as emotionally toxic, adding that her behavior often crossed into what he dramatically labeled as wicked. She wanted control, he said, but what she needed was humility. That house was full of noise, not love. He spoke with a mixture of heartbreak and fury, suggesting that Savannah's actions before his incarceration felt like betrayal, not support. I didn't raise her to be cold, he added. I raised her to be kind, but somewhere along the way, ambition and fame took over her soul. The harsh tone was unexpected, especially coming from someone who once referred to Savannah as the light of his life. Listeners could hear the bitterness wrapped in each word as he alluded to moments where Savannah allegedly twisted family truths for attention and public sympathy. Savannah's rise and fallout. In the aftermath of Todd and Julie's sentencing, Savannah quickly took on the role of family spokesperson. She launched herself into hosting duties on her podcast, Unlocked, using the platform to advocate for her parents, share updates on her younger siblings, and even challenge the U.S. prison system. Many praised her courage, seeing her as a resilient figure trying to keep her family's legacy intact. But according to Todd, her intentions weren't always as noble as they seemed. She made herself the hero, Todd said on the podcast, his voice laced with pain. But behind closed doors, I saw another side. I saw manipulation. I saw someone willing to let the family bleed as long as the cameras kept rolling. Though he didn't cite specific instances, the implication was clear. He felt Savannah's motives weren't pure. And for a family whose entire brand is built on transparency and exaggerated Southern charm, this kind of emotional fracture is devastating. An uneasy childhood revisited. Todd's podcast also peeled back layers from Savannah's upbringing. She always wanted to prove herself, he said. Even as a little girl, she fought for the spotlight. I admired that, but I also warned her. The world doesn't owe you love just because you're loud. He described moments of tension in their home, times when Savannah allegedly challenged Julie's authority and clashed with her siblings. While these claims remain one-sided and controversial, they paint a picture of a family dynamic far more fractured than what viewers saw on television. In one particularly chilling line, Todd compared Savannah's emotional behavior to that of a southern storm. Beautiful at a distance, but destructive up close. He admitted that these realizations only became clear in hindsight, perhaps magnified by his isolation in prison. Sometimes it takes being removed from the chaos to see who's really stirring the pot, he said. Savannah's silence, or strategy? As of this writing, Savannah Chrisley has not responded directly to her father's explosive comments. Her most recent podcast episode focused on prison reform and included a guest interview unrelated to family drama. But her social media activity has grown more cryptic. In a recent Instagram story, she posted the quote, "Sometimes the people who claim to love you the most will burn you just to watch the fire." Was this a direct response to Todd's accusations? Fans certainly think so. Online, the Chrisley fandom is deeply divided. Some are rallying behind Todd, saying his perspective as a father carries weight and shouldn't be dismissed just because he's behind bars. Others are standing by Savannah, crediting her with single-handedly holding the family together during their darkest chapter. A viral tweet summed up the debate perfectly. Is Todd being honest? Or is this just prison rage? Either way, this family needs therapy, not another podcast episode. The cost of fame and family. For years, Chrisley Knows Best gave audiences a front-row seat to the glamorous chaos of a modern Southern family. Todd was the flashy patriarch, Julie the nurturing mother, and Savannah the sassy, ambitious daughter who could seemingly do no wrong. But now, the veil is lifting, and what's behind it is less polished, more painful, and deeply human. Todd's decision to air out grievances with his daughter publicly, especially while he's incarcerated, has raised eyebrows. Some believe it's therapeutic. Others say it's vindictive. But perhaps the real tragedy lies in what this moment reveals about the toxic impact of reality fame. Fame gave the Chrisleys a platform, but it also seems to have planted seeds of resentment, rivalry, and emotional warfare. What once appeared as a tightly knit unit now looks more like a fractured dynasty barely holding itself together. What's next for the Chrisleys? With Todd and Julie still serving lengthy sentences and Savannah attempting to carry the torch in their absence, the family is at a crossroads. Will this very public rift between father and daughter escalate, or will time and reflection lead to reconciliation? Insiders close to the family suggest that there have been efforts made behind the scenes to encourage counseling and healing. However, given the strong personalities involved and the heavy emotional wounds exposed, it's unclear whether either party is truly ready for peace. As for Todd, he ended his podcast with a somber message. "I still love my daughter. I pray for her every day. But love doesn't mean silence. And silence is what kept us broken for too long." The public's role in a private war. Perhaps one of the most uncomfortable truths of this unfolding drama is the role the audience has played in it. By consuming every episode, every interview, and now every podcast, fans have unwittingly become part of the Chrisley story, cheering on success, gasping at scandal, and now watching a family tear itself apart in real time. There's something both gripping and gut-wrenching about watching a family implode in such a public way. It forces us to ask how much of what we see is real. And at what cost do these personalities maintain their public personas? Todd's choice to publicly call Savannah wicked may have been extreme, but it certainly made headlines. Whether it was a calculated move or an emotional outburst, it's clear the Chrisley story is far from over. Final thoughts. At its heart, this isn't just a story about a celebrity feud. It's a story about a father and daughter, both shaped by fame, caught in a storm of betrayal, love, and legacy. It's about trust broken, roles reversed, and the painful realization that sometimes the people closest to us are the ones we understand the least. For Todd Chrisley, prison has become a place of reflection and perhaps resentment. For Savannah, freedom outside the walls comes with its own burdens. Whether this family will come back together remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the world is watching. And in the world of reality TV, the realest moments are often the ones no one meant for us to see. Are you shocked that Todd has had enough of living with Savannah, or do you think it is all in good fun? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, America Trends 24, and stay with us.